and welcome to the Herald Washington Post 1987 Hotline TV show. And once again, we got that fantastic commander from the 3rd District here with us to talk about our hot guest that we have in the room with us. Commander?
Yes, good evening, everyone. I'm Commander Frank B. Thompson III from the Herald Washington American Legion Post 1987, and also the Junior Vice Commander of the 3rd District. And each week that we bring on, like I promised you, people from different veteran organizations, and I always promise you they're going to be top-line officials. And today, this evening, excuse me for that saying that we have CVO, which is Coalition of Veteran Organizations, and we deal with a lot of organizations and veterans problems and stuff. So first off, I'd like to introduce Bruce Perry. And he will come up and explain to you about CVO and stuff.
Thanks, welcome Commander. To the show, Bruce.
Tyrone.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
I did have an opportunity, folks, to attend a couple of the CVO meetings. And for you veterans out there, we need you to attend those meetings. But right now, we want Bruce to explain to us what CVO is and why it's so important.
CVO is the Coalition of Veterans Organizations, and it is just what it sounds like, a group of organizations. We have about 15 member organizations. It's an advocacy group that does for the organizations what no single organization can do. And that is, we have a veterans program that consists of 5 major points. The first point is universal, free medical care, health care for all veterans regardless of their service. And no co-pays, no means test, and for all veterans. No categories, there are priority categories that people are put in. Some are actually excluded from getting VA health care. We want to eliminate all that and make it available to all veterans. Second of all, we want to end veteran homelessness, and we're working with local and national resources to end veterans homelessness. We have an End Homelessness Committee. Third of all, we want full equality and equity between women's health care in the VA and men's health care. There are certain aspects, obviously, there are gender aspects of health care that are not fully equal at this point that need to be equalized. And that includes service for military sexual trauma and PTSD, and a recognition that 17% of all military are now women veterans, and they're becoming veterans, and women veterans are serving in combat or have served in combat. The fourth point is what we call presumptive benefits. When you apply for disability benefits as a veteran, the onus is put on you. The VA sits and takes its time to determine whether you deserve those benefits or not. In the meantime, you have no money and you have no resources. Presumptive benefits means that the benefits will start being paid immediately. And for the veteran, then has the resources to survive. We actually have cases of veterans dying before a determination has been made on their case. So we want to make sure that the benefits get to the veteran in a timely manner, and that is when they apply for them. If in the long run they determine that they're not eligible for the benefits, that's fine. But in the meantime, the veteran has been able to survive. The final thing we have, the final point of our veterans program is in our community. Veterans have known violence. We know what it's like to be in a violent situation. And that situation has no place in our communities and on our streets. So we're fighting to end violence. That's key. That's basically what CVO does. We've been active for about 8 years working on these and other aspects of our program.
Can you explain to our veterans where do you meet, what time, and when?
Right after this show. We meet on the 3rd Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. at the Jesse Brown VA Medical Center in the 2nd floor conference room. and we are always there. You can also call the CVO voicemail, and that's at 773-235 243-2335. I'm sorry, 773-243-2335, and we will have information about our meeting on that voicemail.
Now, in understanding what CVO is about, what kind of success stories do we have?
Well, we've done a number of things. We have taken hundreds of vets and 3 busloads down to Washington to talk to our legislators. We have a record of going out and talking to legislators and to our elected officials about our program, because our program needs to be enacted. It requires both changes in regulations and changes in the law. So we go out and we talk to our legislators, and we have had a series of town hall meetings that have involved major legislators and elected officials.
And why is it important for us to have the elected officials involved with our concerns?
Well, if we don't have the elected
Especially
officials
on the federal level.
Absolutely. If we don't have the elected officials involved, we are a silent community. Our community needs to be out there talking and active and participating, and the way to do that is to influence the elected officials to carry out the programs that we have as veterans, and to make sure that our needs are represented within Congress, within the state legislature, and in the city council, and the Cook County Council. We work in all of those.
So basically, the bulk of our benefits and the bulk of the policy come from the federal government, and that's Congress, the senators and the Congress people in the lower house.
Absolutely. That's the House of Representatives and the Senate are key, and we've been down and talked to them. But we can't forget there are also state benefits, county benefits, and city benefits.
All right, Bruce, I want to thank
Well,
you.
thank you very much for having me. I really appreciate it. And
Ready for our next guest?
we're going to move Connie in there.
Please.
Connie? Line up with that.
Just went blank for a second.
We back. We hotline. We back. We do hope we get some callers. This is your show, you veterans out there, men and women. Please call in. And we got another fantastic guest, Connie, who is the recording secretary for CVO. Tell us about yourself and how you got involved with
Thank
CVO.
you. Okay, I am Connie Edwards, and I am the recording secretary for the CVO, but I came in as a member of the National Women Veterans United, and I have been with the organization since it started. And a part of the thing is that we wanted people to know that women veterans had needs that were not being met. And some of the success that I can tell you is that when I went there the first time, I was all mingled up with men in the clinics and that kind of thing. Now they have a women's health clinic.
Okay.
Some women went, and we decided we were going to go there, even though we had insurances elsewhere to get our mammograms and whatever. The VA put it in place, and so we went there to make sure that they knew that there were enough women out there who needed it, even though we could have paid for ours someplace else, but there are a lot of women out there who could not take care of that. One of the first things that I can remember that we made an impact on is that we've realized that people were not servicing us well because they really don't know what the needs, or they did not. I'd say the success is over time. Some of the things that we thought nobody else knew about, now people are on board with it.
Okay.
The first thing is we needed Congress to know that whenever someone raised their hands and say, I take the oath to join the military, that you have just begun a veteran. And so their finances should not come in at the end of the fiscal year. they should begin to consider that veteran a potential need as soon as the soldier signs up. They should consider that he will be a veteran at some point, and so funding should be available. So one of our first successes, I think, was just to make a referendum. We put it on the ballot that Congress must fully fund the VA health care, because we were also finding that even though people weren't getting care, the ones who actually got in got okay. But what happened was some of the services just were not funded. So we wanted them to fund the services so they would be available. And over time, we are finding that each war may bring up different needs. And so people need to recognize that those needs are there and they need to be funded. And they need to be funded in a reasonable manner. Since we started the fight for the equality of women, not only do they have the women's health clinic, they have a better inpatient facility for women, and some of the things that you would expect of a female that might even be in childbearing ages, those kinds of things are being taken care of. They have not yet succeeded all the way through, but at least we have people in conversation about what's going to go on, even with homelessness.
Mm-hmm.
They're at least saying that they were going to end homelessness in 2015, but we might need to let them know that there were women out there who were homeless. And if women are there, they're bringing their children with them. Many of the shelters are only set up for men, or if you come in, if a woman can come in, she doesn't come in with a boy over 12. And so there are additional things that women need. Since then, the National Women Veterans United has also rented space. Then we have the Women's Center, Women Veterans Center at 79th and Racine, where women can come in with most needs that we try to at least find out what their needs are, try to put them into a position where they can get those needs met.
Well, let me say this to our television audience out there. We're veterans, and most of you out there are regular citizens. And we are counting on you, the citizens, to help support us veterans and the issues that Connie alluded to. So it is very important that the citizens of this country understand that without let me make this crystal clear, without us veterans putting our lives on the line for democracy and the freedoms that you have to go anywhere in this country, you owe that to make sure, you owe us to make sure that the VA is living up to their potential, and you owe us to make sure Congress is living up to their potential to make sure that our programs are adequately funded, our women veterans are properly taken care of as well. And Connie, we want to thank you for your service and the participation that you have given to CVO.
Well, thank you.
And keep up the good work.
Well, thank you very much.
We do have some announcements. We do have another guest coming on, and we have check out the overhead. And we do have a Halloween function coming up. Check that out. Our next guest is Dave.
Valentine's Day.
We have a beautiful Valentine's Day program coming up for Valentine's Day. Check it out.
I'm not the
See it up here?
Halloween function, yeah.
All right. All right, folks. We got that other fantastic guest. His name is Dave. He is the founder and the director of CVO. And Dave, tell us about yourself and tell us what gave you the impetus to create such an awesome organization to help us veterans.
I am a veteran of the Vietnam War. I am one of those individuals that's living with post-traumatic stress disorder.
What about Agent Orange?
Agent Orange, no, that wasn't my field. I worked in combat support hospitals, primary base Yokohama, Japan.
Okay.
But as we realize and understand, post-traumatic stress disorder, moral injuries are part of the parcels that we can acquire during the many different jobs and responsibilities we have while in the military. I know what it's like to virtually bleed to death, and I also know what it's like to write letters home to those that made the ultimate sacrifice.
We do have a caller. We're going to take time to take this caller. Caller, welcome to the show.
Yes, my wife is a veteran, and she would like to know about what Miss Edwards and her organizations could do for the women.
Okay, Bruce, you can talk to that for a
I-
minute.
Yes, about the women.
Yeah.
Our host of services that Women Veterans United are uniquely positioned to deal with and help an individual mitigate. And I don't have their contact information, but most certainly we'll see that you get that before this show is over with.
Any other questions, sir? Caller?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Leave a name and number where we can get back with you. This is what we do.
Here's a phone number.
Okay. The phone number for Women Veterans United is 872-731-2150. I repeat, 872-731-2150. Please give them a call. They do a magnificent job on attending to the needs of our lady vets.
Now, when you got together with those, and you can reflect on the folks you got together with when you came up with the idea, the concept to come up with CVO. What brought that about?
What brought that about is that there are many veterans, I call them pocket veterans organizations, where veterans come together for mutual support. And also, one of the things that we do know, we learn a great deal of what we need to know to negotiate the system from our fellow veterans. However, at this particular stage, when we formed CBO, a coalition to have a single voice, to have the energy of these various organizations and individuals come together to articulate what our most pressing needs are and to do it as one is an effective way to get the attention of those that are in power that so gladly, or shall we say, that send us off to war, but where are they when we come home?
Well, we know where they at.
Well, when we came home in 1969, there weren't too many people waiting on us with
Open arms.
open arm, coffee, no donut. And so there was a need not only to share the acquired information on benefits, but in areas of homelessness, as you've heard, women veterans and so forth, we were able to effectively advocate for these various needs, and we were able, as has been mentioned, to ride to Washington to present our concerns to our elected officials, and it gave us, for many of us, a sense of purpose And there is that thing about leaving no veteran behind, which many of us had felt, but through the camaraderie, the shared experience, I truly believe that, again, to have purpose and to address the need, I may not be able to do anything for myself today, but if I can help one of my fellow veterans, then it's an exceptionally good day.
So basically, what our veterans out there need to understand is that CVO is their organization to give them one voice.
It is to give us one voice, and as was mentioned, to advocate for those things that we know we need, which is entirely different from someone collecting data and speculating because we live it. And when benefits are not granted in a timely manner, that veteran goes back or is stuck in a limbo that is a particular part of hell that no one should experience. When we go off to war, we are wounded physically, mentally, and spiritually. There needed to be and needs to be in place.
All right, thank you, Bruce. We do have another caller. I mean, David. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, how's it going?
Great. How are you?
I'm fine. I understand that CVO is part of a situation that deals with the legislation.
Yes, we advocate, and
Okay, well, one of the concerns that we had that we just got exposed to today, a veteran was living in a safe house and became ill and had to leave there and was on the street. And we, organization that I know, took that individual because he was told that he had a voucher coming. But so what to get him off the street, what we were told, so we brought him in, didn't charge him any rent, didn't give him a lease, and housed him and called the hospital to find out if his voucher has been approved. They said because of the fact that he had now moved into this house for 2 days, that he no longer qualified for a voucher, so we should have left him on the.
now let me make sure I heard you correctly. He was up for a HUD voucher,
Yes.
and he got sick. And you took him into your home. Are you an organization or?
From an organization, and we took him in because we're doing a village for homeless veterans. And when we found out this young man was living on the street, and he was almost deathly ill, and was talking about committing even suicide. We took him in because he said he had a voucher pending. So to get him out of the cold on the street, we put him in for a couple of days and called the hospital. And they said in order for him, his voucher has been nullified because he's now in a facility, even though he's not paying any rent, he don't have any, there's nothing that we are charging him, but because the voucher got dismantled, because I can't think of the right word, because we should have left him on the street.
Well, number one, let me say thank you and God bless, man. I really appreciate you making that effort. And this is one of the reasons we exist. These rules and regulations that work to the detriment of the veteran is not only counterproductive to for the veteran, but it seems like these rules are set up to help the system fail in its mission of supporting veterans. I would strongly suggest that you contact the HUD Vash people, and they got some good people in there, no doubt about it. And then give me a call. Because this is what we do.
We want to thank you, caller. We want to thank our guests, Bruce, Connie, Dave, Commander. our technical people out there, and also remember boots on the ground and their village out there in Fort Heights. Until next time, hotline